So, hello there. This is part two. I am working on a sketch. This is the sketch that I've done, and I'm getting ready to add paint. So this is part two. I did the first one, was showing how I used different layers and did the sketch and why I went in between layers, back and forth between layers. If you want to learn how to use layers on spray paint game, the tools here on what they provide is a little bit different than professional software. So if you want to learn how to paint using the tools that Roblox different spray paint games provide, that's what I'm trying to do and share here. You can speed up this video by simply clicking on the gear icon on your screen and choose the speed. So the reason I want to point out quickly, this looks like a really rough sketch, but there's a reason why I use this like dotted, like see, instead of a smooth line, is because of the erase feature on this particular game is different than other spray paint games, and it will, like, let's say I just like used a straight smooth line, one continuous movement went all the way down here, but then I messed up and I needed to delete just a little portion of it. It won't allow me to do that. If I click on any portion of that line, it will delete the whole thing. Thankfully, there's this undo button and redo button, so that's why I do it like this. So basically, this is what I call the color book outline of my painting. Now, I've seen a lot of artists, they just commence to painting. Like, they don't even do like an outline. They just go after it. And that's a really good painter. For me, I use a mouse. I don't have a stylus pen. And this is, I'm a little bit slower, but I do the color book outline before I do the actual painting. So now in this video, I'm going to go ahead and start adding colors. And I'll show the different layers. So for this outline, I have used layers 14 to 17. So I will not be using these layers when I do the paint. And I will say that when, let's say I'm going to start at layer, now thankfully in this game, what I really like about this game versus spray paint game is it has 32 layers. You don't have a maximum of 20 layers in the spray paint game, of which, because of the trolls, I always started at layer 11, which recently they have required a minimum of 100 likes to get into the pro server, which they're going to reduce back down to 30, because even good painters, it takes them a while to collect likes. Like, a lot of painters will go hidden somewhere in different parts of the game. They're not interacting with other people. They're just there to paint. So a lot of people don't even see their painting. So it's actually hard to collect likes on that game unless you're very interactive. Okay, so you have to buy the layer bundle there to get layers 11 through 20. Here you have 32 free layers. So since there's plenty of layers, I will use more layers in this game than I will use in other games. People, you can write down the layers, the layers that you use on which ones, are doing what, and to keep track of it. Sometimes different games or software will allow you to, like, take layer 31 and you can edit what that's titled, and you can give it that layer name, like say mouth, face mouth. You can say this is the layer that I did this on. But I know that on this outline, I have used layers 14 to 17. Actually, this belly part is layer 18, so I'll say 14 to 18. So I will go much higher than those layers. I will probably start at layer 21 because I'm going to be doing some blending and adding different colors. So if I, let's say I'm going to do this right here, I'm going to start with, I like to start from top to bottom. So I'm going to start doing these antennas, and there'll probably be a total of 3 colors on that. I'm going on a reference picture that I took. This is a Flea from her Flea channel. She's a YouTuber, and she has really funny videos. She does speed draw, and she spray paints other people's avatars. She spray painted mine. I was just so honored to have her spray paint my avatar, and I got to watch her. And I like to watch other artists to learn from them. She does the jelly technique, which I really like. Okay, so I'm going on this reference picture. This is not her avatar from the game Roblox, but this is a kind of like a cartoon character that she draws. So in her videos, like she'll say something funny or talk about something funny, and she'll have her cartoon character pop up somewhere in the middle of the screen or random places in the screen. So this is like just doesn't really have a background to it. It's just like reflecting her funny character that pops up in her videos. And I have several of her pictures that I'm going to be painting that she has a lot of different I guess appearances, if you will, lots of different appearances. I like this one because it just reflects her friendly and bubbly nature. And I appreciate that in YouTubers that are bigger channels, because a lot of times in the bigger channels, they don't really interact a whole lot with, with their subscribers. And, she goes into these platforms and these games, and she does interact with other people, and she paints their avatars. That's part of her content. But she's just a really friendly person, and she's bubbly. So this is what I like about this particular scene, because this represents her. This represents her personality. Her YouTube personality, and yeah, so she's a sweet person, and I appreciate her because for me to be able to watch her, and her painting my avatar and doing a fantastic job, of course, and just being open like that, and anybody who shares their whatever their talent, I just have to give appreciation to. And anyways, so I'm going to start with the antennas. Having said all that, sorry. Um, so the antennas in this particular picture, now her antennas and her colors and whatnot may vary from scene to scene or video to video or whatever, because she does change her, image a lot, which is just fine. That's cool. So this one has kind of like a lot of different colors. I'm not going to be able to blend to get all the colors she has in this picture. I will put the link to the description on her in the description of the video, and the timestamp of where I got this picture from, so you can see the reference, and go check her channel out if you don't already know who she is. Yeah. Anyways, okay, so I'm going to start on layer 21, and I will have 20. Actually, I'm going to start on 22. That way I have I will have 3 layers to fill in or add different colors on these antennas, which there's about, if I was to do all the colors that she used in her drawing of this, there's probably about 6 or 7 actually, but I'm not going to use that many. Actually, I'm going to go up to 23 because, like I said, there's 32 layers, and that's plenty, because this is the top of the video, and top of the sketch. And all of this yellow, I will probably delete some of this, and what I will show you real quickly, this is how I did this drawing here. I basically did the same technique. It all started with a rough looking sketch like that, and I might actually edit her lips a little bit there, and then you just add in the colors. So hopefully this one worked out okay. All right, so layer 23 will be the outermost outer outline of, this will be the highest level of paint layer for these antennas. Okay, so this goes all the way down to 0.05. This is the smaller stroke that the other game doesn't have, so I really like that. But I'm going to go up to 15 to do, and I'm using a mouse, so that is not as easy. These strokes are smoother. Actually, I'm going to go back down to 10. They are smoother. And in the other game, like, the smaller strokes don't hardly show up from a distance. You have to be zoomed way in to even see them. Okay, right about there. And I do have neon paint, but I do not have the other paints. I only have neon in this game. Okay, layer 10. Somebody's over there scribbling. And that's another thing about trolls. What I do, I'm going to show you in this game, if you decide to play this game, not to be disrespectful to these people. I'm not saying all these people are trolls, but if I see them come in with their 0, then they're either never been in the game, brand new to the game, or they're possible trolls. So I don't even want to be bothered. And I love the way you can easily just hide people's work, because in the other game it's very tedious to try to hide somebody's work, the steps that you have to take to do that. So this is so easy. You just go on to the leaderboard, click on the username, and that way anybody coming in, if they try to spray paint my stuff, they will not interrupt my process because I will not even see it. And I'm zoomed in on my stuff. I don't even see them. I'm muted, and so I'm not going to hear them. I'm not going to. I have my chat box is closed, and I'm undistracted, if you will. So that's what I do. And periodically, I will go and check to see if any new players are coming in because people are in and out of this server, and I just don't want to be bothered, basically. And so for all my friends who've been sending me game invites, I am so sorry. I appreciate you so much. I appreciate everybody who thinks of me and invites me to a game. I really do appreciate that because I invite other people as well, and I don't get offended if they don't, that if they don't come. I know they're busy playing something, another game somewhere, and that's fine. But I just, I have my join button off right now because I just want to focus on this painting. And so I know a lot of people want to come in and talk and whatnot. And I have my time where I just come and hang out. Last night I had so much fun just hanging out with friends and dancing. I created a dance pad, and I mean, we just jammed all night, and it was just so fun and it's so relaxing, and I really needed that. But I am focused on getting this painting done. I'm working on my painting skills. So, anywho's, yeah, that was so cool. Um, Notifications. So there are times, like, since I've been in the flea video, I've had people come up to me and they're like, oh, like, I don't know, mostly little kids. They think that I'm a celebrity because I'm in a video, I was featured in a video, which I was so appreciated, so thankful for that. And she featured my art. I was so honored. She's just really nice like that. Um, Anyways, but they were like following me around. They think that I'm a celebrity, and I'm like, I promise you, I'm not. And I would tell them like my YouTube channel. I said, see, my YouTube channel is very small, but anyways, but they all have a lot of respect for the flea because she's super talented, and her editing style, her videos are very entertaining, and I appreciate them so much. I think that might be too big. I may need to redo that. I should have went down because when I look, sometimes when I zoom out, it seems like it's bigger, but that's okay. That's all right. Whoop! I went too far out. So currently, in case you didn't know, I am in, and click on this arrow to try to minimize my screen as much as possible. See this, why this camera button right here is red? That's because I am in the zoom mode so that I can zoom in and see up close my work. Now, all of this, these dots and all these lines and all this stuff is all going to disappear. You won't see any of it because I will be painting over all of the rough sketch. So here, if I need to reposition, what I do is get out of the camera mode and back up so that I can reposition. Now click on the camera mode again, and now I can zoom back in and kind of tilt it. Now her antenna kind of disappears behind her hand, and then you can see a part of it like over there by her arm. So I'm not trying to really modify the scene. I'm trying to get as close as possible to what it looks like in her video. And copying basically what you see in a picture is actually a good exercise to do. And I don't know. I just basically do that by I look at every inch of a picture or break down in my mind. This is how I process. Everybody has different ways they do things. But how I process is I just look at each little portion, okay? And I know you have to look at it as a whole. And you can do like a graph, you know, graph a picture and break it down in sections. And I just kind of do that process in my own mind. That's why I do all the reference points, and then I work from top and work my way down, make sure everything's lined up. A lot of people, especially when they're doing faces, or anatomy of any way, they do like these lines and sections to make sure that, everything's coming out at the right angle and whatnot. And I just use reference points, and I'm gonna have to reposition again. So this is my color book outline process. And maybe one day I will be able to, paint something without having to do an outline, you know. And I would say that it does take a little bit longer to paint something in this game. That's just because of the whole erasing tool issue where I have to, do it in little pieces instead of one continuous smooth line. Would be a whole lot easier to paint. But that's just not how it works. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and start the lines. So there is lines across her antennas. These are like antennas, like so. And I like to do both sides before I start picking colors, because I don't like to, like, let's say I do this side and do all the colors, and then I'm gonna go over here. I need to do both at the same time, because when I switch colors, it's kind of hard to get that exact color again when you're using a color wheel. Like some softwares, there's like you create a color and it has an ID tag to it so that you can just recreate that color. And it's not that way when you're just using a really basic color wheel. So that's kind of an issue, and something that you need to keep in mind if you're going to be painting on here is that once you change out from that color, you may not be able to get that exact identical shade, and you're going to have some mismatches. So whatever I do on this side, like this is two separate things, whatever I do on this side, I will need to do on the other side before I change the colors. I hope that makes sense. See, these are just things you kind of have to learn as kind of like trial and error if you're not familiar with painting on here. So if somebody who wants to come in game and learn how to use this software, I hope that in some way this is helpful to somebody, and I would appreciate it if you would let me know. And I want to talk about you know, um, the whole comment thing on YouTube, why it's important. YouTube has billions of viewers, and a lot of them, they're not people who have accounts with YouTube, because YouTube, you do not have to have an account to watch the videos. But that hurts the creators in a way, because out of 65 million content creators on YouTube, okay, only about 3 million are actually monetized people, and then they're not eligible to get monetized because they don't have the visibility. I used to be monetized years ago, and then Google bought out YouTube and changed things. You have to have minimum watch time hours. So when I quit uploading, despite I had a lot of, I had subscribers and had videos, I quit uploading. Okay, and people can't get the visibility because they do what's called an algorithm, and the algorithm, the way it works, is it's largely based on interaction. Okay, and that's not fair to content creators, because it really should be based on views. Really, how much of the video somebody watches is it's big. That's the biggest thing that helps. But not only that, but they want to judge people's worthiness as a content creator based on interaction, knowing darn well that you have billions of viewers, and a very small portion of those viewers are actually people with accounts, and you cannot interact without an account, right? So that's really unfair to content creators. So I ask that if you're just somebody who's viewing and you don't have an account or you don't want to interact, if at least you could do is share the video. And that way, you don't have to have an account. As far as I know, you don't have to have an account to share a video, and you can just share it on your social media platform. and that will help support the content creator. Um, of course, Facebook gives zero visibility for YouTube videos because they're a competitor, right? So I think people just take YouTubers, content creators, you know, maybe they don't realize it, or they just don't consider them at all. The fact that maybe they think that everybody's making videos is making, they're monetized. They're not. A very, very tiny portion. So I always want to share that. Okay. And I think that YouTube should be a little bit more fair, and not create their algorithm that bases their worthiness as a content creator on likes and comments, knowing the greatest proportion of their viewers are not even account holders, or give the ability of non-account holders to like a video, okay, without having to have an account. Anyways, so having said all that, I I just, I make videos because I like to share. I like to make videos, but it would be nice if I could get a little bit of income from my effort. Even, there's like 3,000 public watch hours in a year is what you have to even be allowed to have tips. Or, to me, I don't get that, because if I was going to be running YouTube, here's what I would do. I would encourage smaller channels to have tip jars or whatever, um, stars, like some platforms use, because if they're a smaller channel, they could charge a certain percentage of that. That's what Facebook does. Okay, they allow somebody to get stars, and they take, they get a certain portion of it. And anyways, but they don't. And I think the real reason for that is because of the competition. They want to keep all of their network managing channels where they have partnerships and sponsors and all that. They want to make sure that they get as much visibility as possible, because that's where they're making their money, and the ad revenue and whatnot. So, anyways, but I do have a PayPal link on my YouTube channel. And if anybody ever felt inclined to support a content creator, you might want to consider that anybody can put a PayPal link on their channel. And you can, I know that's kind of personal, because, usually to have a PayPal account, you have to, share your private information or whatever. And a lot of people are not really wanting to do that. Okay. But then a lot of content creators, I don't, okay, but a lot of content creators have their post office box, and you can remain anonymous. You can give another name or whatever when you're sending something to somebody. And a lot of YouTubers, they appreciate, things they get in the mail or whatever. Anyways, but YouTube is just filled with lots of free tutorials. I've learned so many things on the school of YouTube, if you will. And I just wish that there was more appreciation for content creators. I always try to like a video, right? I always try to do that and make sure I show appreciation. I may not comment on every video, especially if it's a video that gets a lot of comments as it is. If it's somebody that's like a smaller channel, I always make sure that I do try to interact with them, because I know how important that is. Okay. And you don't have to worry about those dots, because like I said, they will disappear, because I will be using a higher... Oh, rats, I'm doing the wrong... Oh, I have to go back over there. That's okay. You see, that's why you have to keep track of your layers. That was a lower layer. These would disappear, because I will be painting down from 20 layers. I'll be painting with layer 22 and down, so that way the black line is at layer 23. So because I go down in layers, when I fill in, the black lines will be on top, if that makes sense. And so I will be, but these, like these dots that you see where I did the rough sketch, whatever, that's the layers between 14 and 17. So they will be covered up shortly. So I will probably have a part 3 to this video. And again, you can just fast forward through the videos. Like, if you just like to watch and listen on how to paint, I wish that when I first started painting, I looked and I looked and I looked. And I did not see, I couldn't find anybody giving tutorials on how to paint on Roblox. And it was so frustrating. But I was like, it's okay, I'll learn. And then I'll do tutorials, and hopefully people will share this video so it gets more visibility and people can see how, you know, how to do this. Now, if you're somebody who has a YouTube channel and you do blending, I have met a couple people in here that said they do blending, so I hope to hang out with them and watch them paint. There was somebody that was, I had created a flower chart in the game, and so it was kind of a small space to even paint it. I mean, they blended like a pro, because blending here on the tools on the spray paint game, it's not as easy as you can with like Procreate and other softwares. They just don't have the tools, you know. And so I was very impressed with his blending ability, and I wish that I had been over there watching him when he painted that. I was so impressed. So that's one thing that I am wanting to learn. So if you're somebody who does tutorials on blending, specifically on Roblox, like, I can watch videos. There are actually plenty of videos on using professional software how to blend. Those videos are available, but the Roblox tutorials are very few. And my dog is like, I apologize. Well, go to the door if you want out, buddy. Okay, so back. Okay, now I'm going down to layer 22, and I'm going to test my paint over here. Okay, that looks about right. Now, I don't like to have, like a lot of people, they'll have these dots, and I don't like to have a mess over here on the side of my painting. So I try to keep it clean as I go. And I'm going to have to let my dog out. I think he's telling me now. Now. All right, buddy. Okay. Now I'm at layer 22. I'm going to increase my brush size. So now I'm going to be going under these lines here. That's actually a little dark. That's a little better. So now this part goes a little quicker, the most tedious part of this. So I've spent, this will be an hour once I get this, like these videos are 30 minutes long. So this painting probably take me a total of, I don't know, 3 hours, 3.5 hours, maybe 4. Compared to, if I was just to sketch this and color it in, I'd probably get it done in an hour. But because I am painting with a mouse and using tools that sometimes can be a little tedious, rather than, you know, my pencils, and I can whip through some sketches just on my regular sketchboard, which I think I have some easy things to draw tutorials. I have done, I've painted people,